Hello. Welcome back to Are You Ready for Your Inspection? Today, I hope you're well. I hope the weather is good. We are recording this a few weeks before it's released because that's what we do. We bulk record them because otherwise I never get them done. But today I have a really special guest. I love it when I have a guest because it means that I don't talk to myself on the screen, which is really awkward sometimes to do. So today I am with a lovely lady and I'm going to let her introduce herself and we're going to have a discussion because you sent me a question, which I love when people send me a question. So we're recording this, but next Monday, which won't be when we're releasing this, we're on our 100th episode of Are You Ready for Inspection, which I never thought I'd be consistent at all. So now
well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So now I've reached my 100th. I'm like, I got to keep going. So to have a guest on is amazing for me because it means that one, I'm not talking to myself and I'm not regurgitating all of the stuff that I've done, which is sometimes I think, oh my God, what are people going to listen? So if anybody's listening to this and wants to jump on as a podcast guest, feel free. It's not that scary. So Gemma, introduce yourself for me.
So hello everyone, I'm Gemma Lamport and I'm based in West Yorkshire and we have 3 nurseries and I'm a part of Vanessa's Inspection Monthly Hub. And that's how I got to know Vanessa. And I was listening to one of the podcasts and one of the questions was, does anybody listening want to cover a certain subject or want more information? So I thought I'm going to email Vanessa because I wanted to learn more about how she managed 6 nurseries when she was a group manager. And because we've now got the 3, I wanted all her top tips. And then and then she emailed me back saying, why don't you join me? And I had to pluck up the courage and I thought, go on then, yes, I will. So that's why I'm here.
You were just talking about sometimes you have to step out your comfort zone.
Absolutely, yes. And I definitely have done today.
Well done. You can tick that box then,
yeah.
You can.
I'm now on a podcast.
You're now,
apparently.
Yeah. So the question that you wanted to ask was, how did you manage? Nobody has ever asked me that.
Oh, right, okay. Such an important question. And I'm sure there's lots of people listening that probably do have a chain or multiple nurseries. I know you've got is it Jordan Tully that you sometimes speak to?
Yeah, he's got a lot.
I'd just love to be his pen pal or something and just get all his advice as well. So yeah, I'm sure that the question's probably quite relevant to lots of people.
Yeah, there are a few people who are starting or going into that role. So talk me through, let's give me a bit of background then. So you managed one and then opened another.
Yeah, so
how did it work?
Yeah, so managed one, and the first nursery I've worked there for 18 years. So I was quite young actually. I was their student and I've just totally worked my way up to then being the manager. And then the owner of that nursery then bought another. We kind of renovated a church and started from scratch. That was the second nursery. And then about 18 months ago, we went for the 3rd nursery, which was existing nursery, full of obviously parents and the current staff. So that's a whole different podcast, I think.
Oh my word, that is a podcast. Yeah. I'll book you for that one. Yeah.
And yeah, I was lucky enough to be in the position where I could buy half with her. So that's kind of like my sort of step into owning nurseries. So yes,
decide to do that then, because that is a real big step from managing to buying. And
yeah,
people often ask me, Vanessa, why have you never done your own nursery? And after setting up 6 and managing 6 or group managing them, I hands up, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do. Owning a business as Jigsaw is one thing, but if someone asked me to buy a nursery or would I consider, it doesn't even sit in my remit.
Yeah, I know, but I used to be like this, and I think the turning point for me was, sometimes when things happen in the nursery, it's not we have lots of good days, don't get me wrong, but now and again you're faced with a bit of a crisis,
Yeah.
and as the manager you still have to deal with that. And actually for me, the earning side's the easy bit. I think we're doing the hard bit, and that's probably how you felt, that it's just such a big responsibility, and when something goes wrong, you know, I was still the one sort of helping with the owner to deal with all that, that I thought, well, why not? You know, why not do it? And actually, I still say the owning is the easy bit. It is the
I'm not
managing
sure
that's the
many
hard bit.
owners will be listening to this and me going,
Well, I am now an owner, so I've got my I've got an opinion.
you're
I
allowed that
can
opinion.
compare, and for me, you know, it just goes hand in hand. So yeah, I still think that the managing side is the tricky part.
So when you went from 1 to 2, okay, when you did that,
Mm.
so you then managed both of them. Is that
I
what you did?
did, yeah. So I think that's been one of the issues that maybe as one of my toxic traits was that I struggled to like delegate, and maybe I just thought, oh, I'll just do it myself. It's quickest just to do it myself. So yeah, I continued to manage both, which to be fair did work okay. It was hard, and sometimes going between the nurseries, you know, in the car journey, I remember kind of sometimes gripping the steering wheel, you know, because you just can't get there quick enough. You've not got enough hours in the day. And then obviously with the third, that is when I think it got too much. So we've now got managers in each of the settings,
Okay.
and now I manage the managers. But
Okay.
even that's taken a lot of adjustment, because if you're used to just managing one setting, then two, to kind of, you know, let go really, I think, is hard, isn't it?
I
It
think
does take that.
if it's in your genetics
Mm.
to not be able to let go and be almost I'm putting the inverted commas here, almost that control freak.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and you know, it's not a bad thing to be a control freak. It's not so great for your own well-being, but it is very hard to find. And my boss always used to say to me, the owner of the nurseries always used to say to me, not everybody's going to do it the way you do it, Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
And I still struggle with that now,
Definitely.
which I think's in, if it is in your makeup, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's been one of the biggest things for me, is to try to just go with it. And, you know, I know you always say, don't you, about when you've had a bit of a bad day, you know,
24
take
hours.
24 hours. For me, I just need to sleep. Just go to sleep. And in the morning, I'll have a different perspective, and I'll, you know, have a different way of managing it. But now I'm really enjoying upskilling the rest of the team and sharing, you know, all my golden nuggets and top
Yeah.
tips like you do to us. And it's nice when you start to see their confidence grow as well. So I'm getting used to that. So I'd say that's been one of the trickier parts,
It's
definitely.
finding, I mean, the top tip is finding the right person to manage.
Definitely.
Is if, and another thing, there are a few little things, sayings that my boss used to say: speed of the leader, speed of the team is one of them. And
Yeah.
if you don't have that with the leader, if you don't have that with your manager, the team are not going to be on. You know, I'm not talking about Speedy Gonzalez, but that leader needs to be, they need, if you think about the traits of a manager, let's talk about the traits of what you'd say a good manager would be. They need
Yeah.
to be inspiring, they need to be
Yeah.
motivational, they need to be enthusiastic,
Mm-hmm.
they need to have empathy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all of these skills a nursery
Mm-hmm.
manager needs to have. They need to be, apart from being the gardener, the mum, the counsellor, the toilet cleaner, you know, everything that
Yeah.
manager has to have. They
Yeah.
have to have another role, and finding, and especially nowadays, finding the right people to be on your bus.
Mm-hmm.
But all these sayings I'm coming out with,
I know. It's
I'm like a walking phrase
like
book.
one a minute. I love it.
I'm like, you really, Vanessa? But I do see these all the time. You either on the bus or off it.
You are. And that's the next thing. So what you've touched on there is that I think for anyone who's got multiple settings, well, or even if you've just got one, you need to surround yourself with inspiring people. And hopefully you get that from your team. But if you don't, that's when you've got to start looking for other people. So for me, when we took over the third nursery, which again, existing nurseries are quite a tricky, difficult, settling in
Well done
phase.
you, because that's a real big
Is.
decision.
But I have to tell you, you did a podcast called Negative Nancy's.
Sorry.
And I had to change the name because my lovely dog was called Nancy. So for
Well,
me,
I did say when I did the podcast, I did say I'm going to get complaints. I hands up, I did say
yeah,
I'm going to call them negative Nancy's or positive Paulines. But I know a few negative Paulines and I know a few positive Nancy's. So I was like, I shouldn't label. I know people out there are going to, no kidding, Gemma, people are going to go, you can't say that. They do. They do. But I don't mean it.
Oh no, I just changed it in my head to Negative Nelly because I just thought of my lovely dog.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think I listened to that for about 3 weeks on the trot because it just helped me because you talked everything about how to cope in those situations. And, it's so difficult when you're in charge and all you're getting is sort of the negative side.
Yeah.
And for that, it was like you were my support in those moments. So, yeah, so thank you for that.
No worries. And it's really hard as well because when you have those people on the team, it suffocates the life out of you.
It does
And
eventually.
I always say that with the negative comments, it's almost like, and this is going to sound really crass, but it's almost like a scab. When you're a child and you fall over and you get this big juicy scab on your knee, don't you? You do, yeah. And what you do as a child, you pick round the edges. We all do it. We all can say don't do it, but as a child, my knees are, yeah. So you pick round the edges, and then all of a sudden that scab is going to come off all in one. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it is. And when that scab comes over, that comes off, that's when you just blow your gasket. That's when it goes, right, I've had enough.
Yeah. That's it. And you can just slowly just lose your sparkle. So yeah, that's why it's so important to continuously look for people that do inspire you, even if they're not people in the setting. It could be other nurseries, other nursery managers on Facebook, or it could be a celebrity that's inspiring. So yeah, definitely surround yourself with that positivity, because otherwise, like your scab will grow bigger and bigger.
God. Yeah, and you just flip. Yeah, I agree with you on that, is surrounding yourself. I love podcasts that I love listening to is Amy Porterfield. Oh my God. She might be American. She is, I could spend hours just listening. And now in the office, our operations manager, I've got her to start, and she listens to it as she comes in and she says, did you listen to Amy this morning? And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the other one is Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah, you've mentioned him before. Yeah.
Oh my God, I could listen to him and watch him, and I just think, one, that guy is resilient. Okay, he's a multi-billionaire and he's got all of this money. That's not why I'm watching him. I'm watching him because I learn from him. And how can a 54-year-old learn from a 20-odd-year-old? I'm like, my God,
I'll take anything. Yeah.
It's when you're a sponge, isn't it? And you just take that thing. And that's when I would say, if you don't have that spark, if you don't have that fire in your belly, you're in the wrong vocation. Get out.
Yeah, definitely, because you've got to keep that to move forward. And that's one of the next issues, isn't it? That the daily grind of having multiple nurseries, and we all know how that feels at the minute. We've got the recruitment crisis, staff sickness, funding, issues. We've got, it could be anything. You could have a cereal biter in the baby room and you're getting complaints, and slowly you start to drown a little bit, And for me, my favourite though is when the chef runs in sick and you've got to cook. Yeah, they're my favourite days.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to tell you a secret. I used to love it when the chef called in sick.
Did you?
Because I used to go in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to
put the radio on.
Yeah. And actually the cook that in the kitchen, that is the hub of activity. So everyone will come in, or bring in their, the snack plates in, their dinner plates in, their lunch plates, and they'd all have, it's almost like the kitchen is the way that the everyone comes in and everything, because everyone's telling you everything as you're in there. And no one, sometimes I used to think the cook used to come and say to me, did you know this was going on? And I'm like, Why did I not know? But that's because
Yeah.
the cook is the hive, it's the kitchen, it's
Yeah.
the activity.
Yeah.
And I would go two-way, because you'd have the cook who thinks that they could do your job.
True. Yeah.
But I used to love being the cook. Obviously not on if it was a long-term sick, because that's a bit of a ball ache.
Yeah. Yeah. The
But
long-term ones are tricky.
yeah, cutting 20 million carrots. Give me the
It's the peeling potatoes for
yeah,
me.
no, don't no,
Definitely
I have
not.
to say the potatoes was the thing that I used to go, I can't bear this.
Yeah. Let's have some pasta instead.
Yeah, I know it doesn't. Shepherd's pie with pasta doesn't look good, does it?
Yeah. But what I like about the kitchen, you do 10,000 steps without leaving that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get
And
all
you're
your
so
exercise in.
good, aren't you? At the end of it, you're like, and your hands,
Yeah.
because it's in rubber gloves, your hands at the end of the day stink of marigolds.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not great.
No.
So that's kind of like, if that's going to be your daily, how your day looks like. And sometimes we might just have the odd days, but like you say, sometimes it can go into weeks. And then that's when you start to think, I'm just keeping my head above water here. We're not doing any improvements, we're not reflecting with what I even are my targets from 6 weeks ago. So it's in those moments where I've had to really put something into place, that when I start to feel like that, I just go sit in my car with my notebook for 15 minutes, because it's when you're in the office or the kitchen or wherever, you've got obviously the staff distracting, and I'm sure I've got some sort of undiagnosed ADHD, because I'm so easily distracted. The
Yeah,
phone will ring.
I hear you on that one.
Yeah,
Don't get
the
me started
emails.
on that one.
I'll start a task.
Procrastinating.
Yeah, I've got 10 tasks to do. I've started them all and not finished any. That's my day. So sometimes I just have to take myself away, go sit in the car somewhere quiet, no distractions, and then really start to think, right, what was I doing? What was my purpose 2 weeks ago when we
I
started
think
this?
the one thing that I was asked to do as a group manager, because we had six, well, at the time was six, when she sold the business, there were 11, up to six.
Goodness.
And I started as managing one, and then there was another, and then managing.
Similar to me then.
Yeah, opening them up. I'm going to say, luckily, we set them up from the beginning, and we didn't have to take over any nurseries. We didn't do that, so that was for me an easier way of getting it, an easier way.
Yeah.
But I used to do a time management when she said to me about doing a time management sheet. So I started like at 7:30, and I ended, well, I didn't, I just carried on. And every 15 minutes, it was down on a spreadsheet. So it was like 7:30, 7:45, 8. And basically for a week, I just wrote down everything that I did. And then what it turned out that I was spending so much time looking at that, on ridiculous things that wasn't my job.
Like,
but I wasn't.
So-and-so's lost the welly boots, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? But I think we do that because we know we can find that welly boot and we can tick it off our list.
Yeah, and because for me, another toxic trait, I'm a people pleaser. So if that parent asks me to find their wellies, I'll try my best to find their wellies. So yeah, that's another thing that you have to work on. It's the people pleasing when you've got more people to please.
I don't think it's taken me, so we're 7 years now in Jigsaw, and it's taken me probably in the last 6 months to go, you're not going to please everybody, Vanessa.
Yeah.
And there are people out there who, I say we're like Marmite, and that's what you've got to think. Rather than going, no, I want everybody to like me. Now I go, well, actually, I know I don't suit some people, and I know some people will say that, and I know some settings don't suit me, and sometimes I think I've probably done that in the last year twice now, where I've gone, okay, I don't think it's working. You're not fitting my vibe. I'm not fitting your vibe. We're clashing, and I don't want to do that. Let's draw a line. Let's part our separate ways. But it's almost like, as a nursery, you've got so many boundaries of things like, you want to please the parent, you want to please the staff, you want to obviously please the children because that's ongoing, but you want to please Ofsted because you want to please the local authority, you want to, because you don't want the thing coming back and someone moaning.
No, and the pressure can sometimes really get to you, can't it? So yeah, and I read something the other day, and it was about raising your daughters, and it said about teaching them when they're young that not everybody's going to like them, and that's fine. And if we can do it when they're young,
that's exactly it. I wish someone had taught me that.
yeah.
And you know, like you being that people pleaser, you want people to like you. You want people to go, oh my God, you're amazing. And I do this thing. Have you done the thing about love languages?
No, but I saw it on your Facebook the other day. So yeah,
Okay,
I'm going to do that at the next staff meeting.
there's a podcast I think I did about love languages. Find it.
I
tried
will.
the episode of it. And actually, when Anthony's listening to this, because he listens to all the podcasts, because he has to edit
Oh,
all the
lucky him.
yucky, I know. He sits there with an earpiece in. I'm
I
sure
bet he does.
he needs to get over himself. He just wants to listen to my voice. See, when you're listening to this, in the show notes, can you put the love languages quiz on it? That's the best thing we've ever done, because people think that love languages is about your relationship at home. I mean, and to be fair, I started that at home. I thought, let's see where my husband and I are. And he went back saying he likes quality time with me, which his was like, he needs 98% of quality time, whereas my quality time was 0. I was like, right, I've really got to do something here.
Compromise here.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, right, diarise in your diary every weekend that you spend an hour sitting down with him. That's because
back to your time management again.
But if you've got to do that, the other one is physical touch. I was like, mine was 0, and he was like, now I know why you're a cold fish. But it almost like when you do it, so we did it as a team as well, so maybe that's something to do with your team.
Yeah, good idea.
And you know different how they're doing. So you know, some staff don't like a hug.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
I'm a hugger.
Yeah, one of my, so like Anthony listened to this, he likes gifts. So if you like, Lucy bought him a packet of sweets this week and put it on his desk, he was in his element.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas me, if somebody gave me a gift, no, that wouldn't. I'd rather someone say to me, thanks, Vanessa. That's
definitely
it.
Words for me as well. And it's the words. So whenever I get some really lovely feedback, it's those that I really have to try to sort of push to the front. You know, when you are in maybe a bit of a day where it's not been as positive, and keep reminding yourself of what everybody else has said.
Okay, do me a favor. So the team did this for me for, I don't think it was for my birthday. Was it for Christmas? So I've got a jar on my desk, and it's called Jar of Thanks. Go and find all of your positive comments. Find them all, put them on a piece of paper, fold them up and put them in a jar. And so when you get those days, you just dip your hand in that jar and go, actually, that's what you need to do. It's the best thing ever. Because
good idea.
They're never going to thank you though, Gemma, are they?
I know. Yeah. It's just amazing, isn't it, when you get that. That's what I feel like. We're so privileged to be able to get that feedback. You know, my husband deals with fleet, you know, and he just is the problem solver, is the troubleshooter. And when I come home with my little, you know, like last night, my little Costa coffee card from one of the parents leaving, he's like, you're just so lucky. So we're really privileged to be a part of that sort of community. So yeah, we do need to keep reminding ourselves.
Yeah, we do, because nobody else is going to do it for us. And so going back to the main question is finding the right team, finding the right people on your bus and your managers that can, and actually do a time management thing to see where you are. And actually go, are any of those tasks that are on there that you can give to somebody else? Because there will be tasks on there. There will be.
Yeah, there will be, cost there will be.
And almost have that. Do you have monthly managers meetings?
We do, yeah, we do. And I love those, because that's when you can really sort of feel you're bouncing off each other, and that sort of powerful energy. It's just like magic, because you're with like-minded people. Yeah, you go home like on cloud 9. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I think that's definitely a good to do these agendas, remind them, you know, ask them, you know, what are their targets, where do we want the nursery to, you know, move forward. And yeah,
thought about asking them and be open to the honesty. ask them before they come to the next staff meeting to write down a list of what they think you do.
Okay, I will. In fact, when we took over the third nursery, one of the staff members, because we've got a couple of nurseries, we have like admin support who try, and that's been like one of the best things we ever did.
Oh,
And they, answering the emails, answering the phone, just sort of watering down my workload really, and the owner's workload. And yeah, so because we've got these admins, one of the staff members said, "What is it that you do all day, Gemma, then?" And yeah, now they're learning because I'm delegating.
But I think it'll be interesting for them to see what they think, what you think, what they think that you do, and then maybe you write your list.
Yeah, I'll do my time management every 15 minutes. Write something down.
Yeah, and then come together in your managers meeting and go, okay, let's see, and don't be offended. Just go, okay, let's hear what you think, because there's going to be some things on those lists that they didn't think that you did. They thought that they did, and actually, it might be that they go, oh, do you know what? That should be my job and not Gemma's. So why is Gemma doing it? That's what you have to do, is start thinking.
And I think sometimes they might not have even thought of that.
Yeah,
you know, like if you think of all the compliance, and that's what I know you've been doing so much work on. And that's what I'm really trying. That's where I'm focusing at the minute with the managers in the monthly meetings. There's no point doing the displays in the corridors if you don't even understand the compliance. And that's where I'm really working on, and almost testing and quizzing, you know, about DBSs, about how often training should be done, because I think it's that can take for granted that somebody else does.
Oh, totally. And it shouldn't be just your job to do.
Yeah,
everybody's job doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's really, I think, you know, like I said, that my role 7 years ago was help settings get to outstanding, because that's what I knew how to do. But now my role is changed completely, is actually help them be compliant, because it's just gone. And I know not everybody's like that, but we've come into a world where, you know, inspections are not for every 6 years. Local authority doesn't come out to visit you as often as what we ideally would like. And it gets dwindled and it gets watered down, and as it gets watered down, we because it's ongoing, we don't realize that actually what we've been doing was wrong.
And we miss things because of the daily grind, because we're cooking, or you know, we're dealing with the welly boots. So it is just reminding yourself of why we're there and what our role is.
Exactly.
So I've got a question for you, Vanessa. How did you manage the, like, you know, it sounds silly, like you're organising, you're planning your notebooks for all these settings. Have you got any top tips on that?
What's the question? Tell me again. See, this is my dodgy brain going.
No, it's probably my dodgy question. So sometimes I feel like I'm in the settings, I've got a notebook, I'm writing things down, and I just feel like I think it could be better. And I know you do some sort of planners and things like that, don't you?
The diary is a really good one. The diary is we've only got seconds in now. I think there are only 4 left in that, but the diary is the best thing that we've done, because I've put an operational checklist in it every month.
I feel like I need the structure of that. You know when you feel like you're starting to write on post-it notes, and it's just I can't keep track. And I just wondered if you had 6 settings, how you managed all that.
That's how I did the operational checklist. I designed the operational checklist as a group manager for the 6 settings, and I just upgraded it and learned and thought, what is it that I'm doing when I was inspecting? What am I checking? So I used that knowledge with that knowledge and amalgamated it. So our operational checklist, and that's a download. So that is something that I would say every month to go and check. That is a biggie for me, because I go in and check is like I say, oh, how do you check your accidents and your incidents or your medication? And we go, the settings will go, it's online. We do it online. So I then say, well, how do you check how many accidents are coming in from home? How many accidents are in the role play area? How many accidents are outside? How do you do that? Well, we don't do that because it's online. Okay, so this is the thing of going from paper
yeah,
to online. And I'm a bit of a paper freak. However, I do think there is a place for being online, and I do like if we can get the online system working that's suitable for us, then yeah, that needs to be. But it needs to, you need to be making sure. Do you do that thing where you do every month you go and do almost like a mini audit on your settings? Do you do that?
Yeah, we do, and I'm starting to get the managers to do more of that as well. So looking at sort of the targets. We've got your audits from what you sell, which they're really good, they're really thorough. And it's sort of starting off, isn't it, where you're doing them, then the managers are doing them, then the team leaders are doing them, and then the teams are reflecting.
That that's being done?
Yes.
Good, because that's the problem. It's sometimes when you hand it over to somebody, you have got to check that that is being done. Otherwise, it gets dwindled, doesn't it?
That's it. And that's another thing that I've had to learn, that just because I've passed it on to someone before, I might have just took that off my list. Now I do try and keep it on, because it is a part of making sure that they've completed that.
Yeah. So I think the tips then is finding the right staff to be on board. Yeah. Making sure, do your time management, see where that is. Ask your managers what they think that you do. Come together and go, and then almost be honest with them and go, is there anything on my list that you think that it should be your role and you can take from me?
I love that.
Because when you want them, you want them to feel that they're helping you rather than you telling them. It's almost like telling your husband it was his idea. That's a really good idea, even though it's you that's sowing the seed all the time.
I'm definitely going to do that.
You want them to literally go, actually, that should be my role, Gemma, and I'll take that from you. And then get your highlighter. So when they say that's what they're going to do, is highlight on your timesheet all of those things they're going to take away. So basically, you can have a bulk bit that's going to be dropped into their box, and that is going to free up that time for you to be able to work on the business and not in it, because that's the hardest bit.
You've hit the nail on the head there.
You're just in it. You're just in that whole thing all the time. Whereas actually, you need to take yourself out the equation, give them the autonomy, make them feel that they are worthy and they can do it. But remember though, they're not going to do it as well as you do it. All right.
Well, they've got lots of skills, haven't they? So it's just about us finding the right parts to upskill and share that knowledge. And I try to be reflective on me, so I know what I'm not good at either, like the notebooks, the paper everywhere all over my desk. And then there's and I've tried to choose people who complement me as well, so that we can kind of make it happen together.
I love it. Whereabouts are you? West Yorkshire?
West Yorkshire,
Let's come for a visit.
I know you're quite far away, aren't you? Because I've been looking at your events.
Because my friend Emma's in Yorkshire, so I can quite happy go up there. When I wrote the third edition of the book, I took myself away to Whitby for a week.
Oh yeah, lovely.
I hired an Airbnb and nobody contacted me, and I just sat at the window looking at the sea, writing the book. It's really marvelous, but it was just used to be away from home, really. But it's does that help on those?
It does. Thank you so much. I've even wrote some notes.
Oh, really?
I have. The love languages, the operational checklists.
Thank you so much for joining me, so much.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. If there's anybody listening to this that wants to join the podcast, please email me. Did you email me, Gemma, or did you message me?
I emailed you.
Oh, okay. But was it my email?
Vanessa.
Okay, Vanessa at jigsaw.eyc.com. I try and answer those emails. I'm pretty good at many.
You're really good. You're quite quick.
I know. I can't bear anything left in my box.
Even
on my phone, anything. If I get a red, the red thing on your phone.
Oh, the flagged. I know.
Can't bear
That's like my Friday job, is to go through flagged mail.
Ugh, what a job. What a job. So if anybody's listened to this and wants to join a podcast, please let me know, and I will send a Zoom link and we can get that going. But I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Thank you, Gemma, for joining me.
Thank you so much for
And
having me.
I will see everybody next week.